Where are we going? What are we doing?
So we are here, and then
Set 1, set 2, set 3,
Hey,
record
225I.
Alpha, record Bravo.
all will be climbing up.
It's another wall.
Okay.
Are we going to move on?
Yes. Till they settled. Bridge, this is nav. Yeah, another step, please. 10 meters, 225.
All right, what's up, 8 to 12?
Hey.
What?
Hey, what? What's going on?
What's up?
What's up? What are we doing? Where are we at? What's the deal?
Headed
a
up
DL.
slope.
We're heading up slope.
225. Looking at stuff.
Oh, this isn't that version of Windows. The DOI.
Chris will be on comms in a minute, I think.
Oh, okay, cool. Sweet.
Let's get some audio going here. 8 to 12. My watch next leg too.
You are?
Yeah.
Hey. Ooh, look at those.
You
Are
want to
those-
zoom in?
Coming in.
Fix that iris action you got?
Yeah. You mean look at the monitor?
Are those corals
Holding.
or sponges?
They look like corals.
Oh,
Chrysogogidae.
Chrysogogidae.
I think the common name is golden corals.
A golden coral.
A golden coral.
Galatheid condos.
Cool. Are those squat lobsters?
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Come back. Come back here.
who's with us here? We have, any guesses, Control Van? What countries are with us?
The Grand Duchy of Fenwick.
I'm guessing the U.S.
Yep.
Liechtenstein.
Liechtenstein. I doubt that.
Is there a T in there? Is it Licht?
Liechtenstein.
Liechtenstein?
Liechtenstein.
Great. Now I got it.
Okay, thank you. You're really good at pronouncing that, Suna.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
practice a lot.
Yeah.
It's like you speak that language or something. I
What
swear.
language?
No.
You speak like Estonia?
Bridge, this is nav. Another step, same. Thank you.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a great shot.
yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, come out just a little bit. Get all
I'm
that
gonna
guy
give
in
that
there.
a 2, Ed.
A 2?
A 2.
Oh,
Thank
man.
you.
What if he started juggling?
Then I'd probably give it a 5.
Okay. Come on, little buddy. You can do it.
I mean, 5
Looks
is
like a
like,
winter scene.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
a snowstorm in the background.
Snow globe. Oh, there's a shrimp up top.
oh yeah, look at that. Oh my gosh.
almost
it's
looks
so
like a-
pretty.
Baby shrimp.
A baby shrimp.
Baby shrimp.
Oh my gosh. Oh, you almost got me.
Almost?
Oh, good.
I think he got you.
Yeah.
Oh, the Grand Duchess of Fenswick is watching. She just wrote in.
There's no such place. It's a fictional place from the book The Mouse That Roars.
She said, "How did you know I'm watching?" We
It's
have
also
eyes.
a film. What was the film called? I think the film was called the same thing.
It was a Peter Sellers movie.
Yeah,
I
it was
think.
Peter Sellers, yeah.
The whole plan was to wage war and then get foreign aid.
Yeah, the way you become a prosperous European country is to
Yeah.
lose a war to the United States.
Yeah.
Oh.
Except their declaration of war gets lost behind the radiator at the State Department. Right up there with King of Hearts.
Hey, moving on.
Coming out.
Oh, I thought we were going to look at this all night. Okay.
Oh, Statler and Wardorf.
Wow, everyone's
Waldorf
on
back
one
there.
today. All right.
We're lively.
Yeah, we're feeling sassy.
That mud gave us an attitude.
Yeah, it was a long watch. Hardened us.
All right, so yeah, I guess we'll move up the hill. So Suleiman, can you zoom out for a second? What's our total? 'Cause we got to pay attention to the clock here. Our total trajectory. So we need a we need a goal. Everybody needs a goal.
Yeah, what is our
In
goal?
life.
What's our daily goal? What's our
I
affirmation?
need
Is
a
it
goal.
reaching the top?
We're going for the top?
No, we're not going to make it to the top. That's the is R4 the last waypoint? I think. I'm pretty sure.
There's some cutting
Right.
edge technology.
Whoa, that brought me back about 20 years. Do you have Minesweeper on that thing?
Okay. So our goal should be
Solitaire?
halfway between R2 and R3. We're going to split the difference.
Okay.
Way down deep.
I'll have to check.
Okay, zoom back in. I was curious. It looks like a relatively. Well, it's going to be steep the whole way, I think.
Yep, it's almost the same.
Contours all across. We might hit a little bit of a plateau just past R2.
Gonna
R2.
get a workout again.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. All right, so we'll proceed with caution.
Bridge, this is nav. Another step, please. Bridge, this is nav. Another step, 10 meters, 225.
How do you? No. Have to work on that later.
Some very important work.
All right, I guess we could do a rock. Looks like there's some candidates over there.
You want a rock? What kind of rock? What kind of rock you want?
Black one. Chunkier the better.
Something over here?
Yeah, there's probably some candidates in here. This looks a little loose, some of them. Well, maybe not.
Yeah, these will come.
That guy.
Gonna use our curb fielders. Check, check, check.
Back solid.
Huh.
These look more manganese.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nope.
Oh, these ones are stuck too, huh?
Yeah, these guys might be pretty glued in. Off to the right, up higher. That guy right in front of you, the knobby. Yep. Nope. How about the one that's below the arm, a little oblong shaped? There you go. Nope. Negative. Definitely crusty. Oh, well, there you go.
Hey.
Nice catch.
Try that guy, I guess. Oh,
Is that bubble cam in?
That is
Oh,
bio.
that's our bio box. Duh.
Bio.
the little fish survey sheet isn't up here.
You need to push on that, or are we good?
Probably not gonna fit in the little one, I think.
You think it will? Should.
I don't know.
It's a bit
flat
wide.
and wide, yeah.
What are we thinking?
Well, try and see if it fits, I guess. Well, or I would, if it doesn't fit, we can chuck it in there. But since it is a little flat,
So now which number this one will be?
93.
a fuller, a
93.
fatter rock would be better. But we can look around real quick. Maybe there's a second one to throw in the same box if we.
Yay.
Yeah, you got salvo switches. You can switch for me.
Yeah.
The starboard one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, starboard when it swings out a view to the right, and then when he's coming back, you can go to salvo normal.
Okay.
And if we're ever having a hard time picking up a sample,
Looks
salvo
pretty jumbo, you know?
forward gives you Hercules and bubble, and
Okay.
puts Argus up at 13.
Yeah, that doesn't look like it's
it
going to
is
fit,
now.
does it? Oh, maybe. Oh, that'll go. Or get stuck. Oh, there you go.
Nice one.
All right, so maybe look around real quick and see if there's a second one to throw in that box as well.
Alright.
This is why we're stopped.
Did that go into the aft one?
Yep. I think you
Have
tried that one
that
already, yeah. Yep, I think so.
Take some gain out of
And
you.
it is still stuck.
What about that one right there?
Also stuck.
Uh,
I think if you pan right,
Thank you.
Maybe this one? No?
there's a few over there.
yeah, we're at the max on the panning. Max pan.
Not much over here.
Want to bounce up a second?
Yeah, sure. Bounce up, take a quick look around. And
This sediment makes it look like I'm overexposing this shot, but I'm not. There's just no detail there.
yeah.
Gotta
Like
be
there might be
some
some
loose-
candidates there, kind of screen left.
Oh, to the left?
Well, I think screen left or right, there's some stuff. Like up in here somewhere.
I'll call for another move
You
to
would
get
think right in
closer.
there, there'd be some guys. Eel thing over there. Flapping around.
Ooh.
Right above the eel, that guy, that rock that's kind of sticking up higher than the rest of them. Yeah, something within the arm reach here should go.
Did you not like that rock?
Well, it was a little thin, on the thin side, which means it may be more altered than.
But just to the left of the eel, that looks pretty
Yeah, exactly.
glued in, I think.
Ping.
This eel does not seem to mind us in the
It
slightest.
will shortly.
That move? No. Negative. Well. Top of the screen, right underneath the arm, there's a rock with a hard, dark shadow on it.
Yeah, to the right of the eel.
Yep.
Over here?
Yeah, that guy, maybe.
Rocks.
Oh, there you go.
Hey, nice.
Let's make this another sample.
You want to do a separate box?
Yeah.
Okay. Suna says, separate box.
Put some more light on this subject.
Hmm.
You liking that rock?
Sure.
It's a great rock. Right. Just go in a different box?
Yes, please.
Okay.
In a small one, if it fits.
Yep.
Maybe C. Yeah.
Suna wants to fill up all the boxes as quick as possible. So she doesn't.
Thank you. I'm worried about the associates. Just to clear myself.
All those little creatures that live on the rocks.
Yes.
I was surprised by how many actually come up with the rocks too.
Is that it for the collection?
Yeah, I think so. We'll move on. Shrimpy. Oh, do you want to try the slurp while we're here just to see what's doing, what it does? Like, run it through the flush chamber and just see how it churns,
Okay.
just to convince ourselves it's working or not working.
Stand by, Rich.
You on flush?
Flush is on.
So we're gonna need in Herc cameras to turn starboard rail off.
There you go. Looks like
and
it's got
bucket
some
on.
zip. You know.
There we go. Thank you.
You want to turn it off?
Yeah, it's not going to
Off that
stick
thing.
stuck in there in the first 2 seconds.
Yeah. Turn it off?
But it looked like it had more
Zing.
than the other day.
Was that the flush?
Yeah, we're just sucking just to see if it
It suck some more?
works at all before we count on it
Sucking.
and realize it doesn't work at all. Yeah, there you go. That's more like it. What percent are you there?
I was at 40%.
Oh, okay.
You're at 40?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Well,
it's
that's
working
much.
good.
Wow,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
much better. Okay, fine,
Flip it.
great. That's much better. Okay, so we know that that's an option now for things.
All right, are we ready to rock?
Bridge,
Yeah.
this is Nav,
Not
another
rocket.
step.
No pun intended.
10 meters, 225.
Zinger.
Thank you.
Cool. Well, I'm just gonna give a little rundown of what we're doing. So we are now at Rose Atoll, and we are around, looks like 940 meters or so, little less. So we're starting along this north ridge of Rose Atoll, and then working our way up along a ridge, ending probably at about 330 meters or so. And Chris, are we still doing sort of the same thing that we've been doing, looking for those biological and geological samples?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Same
Cool.
deal.
And then we'll do maybe a little photogrammetry if we find a...
Yeah, if we find a something interesting.
Cool. So photogrammetry are those photos that we stop and do during a transect. So you'll see when that happens in Argus Cam, Hercules will often have sort of a strobe light going on. And we take those photos, Chris's lab, and can create 3D models of what we see. So finding those really cool sort of seascapes with, you know, interesting terrain and a lot of fauna, corals, sponges. What do we have on the quad view? Okay, it looks like we have Herc camera on the top left, and then Argus
Bridget, this is Nav.
cam
Another step, please.
in feed 2. So Argus is looking down on Hercules. And then, is that now bubble cam in the third feed?
That's bubble.
That's bubble. And then what's in our fourth one?
Map.
Map, cool. Sweet.
There's always a map in the fourth one.
Oh, okay. So I was reading about Rose Atoll earlier, and it's actually quite interesting. It's the southernmost point belonging to the U.S. Did you know that? And it has a lagoon and a reef flat, and it measures around 1,200 acres in size. It's a pretty cool sort of area. There's some really interesting photos of it, and aerial photos where you can see it's a very low elevation atoll on the outside, and then on the inside there's, like in the center of it, there's this cool lagoon. And it's called Rose Island because it's sort of pink.
I was rereading earlier about Pitcairn Island.
Where's that?
I've been there.
You've been to Pitcairn? That's one
Yeah.
of the most remote places in the world.
Really? Where is it?
It is northeast of Tahiti.
That's where they took the Bounty.
Yeah, the Bounty mutineers
Fletcher, Christian Fletcher.
went back to Tahiti and gathered up their friends, set out on the Bounty, found Pitcairn, which had been incorrectly recorded on the maps when it was previously discovered by about 200 miles, I think, an error of 3 degrees, and settled there. And by the time the British got around to finding them, it was 24 years later. And
Whoa.
John Adams was the only survivor. And he was granted amnesty.
Was he living on it alone? Or he
No,
had,
no, they
he
had
was
family.
just-
Yeah, and it's a super interesting island to read about because they're facing extinction there. There's only 50 people who live there, and the majority of them are pretty old. They have one high voltage mechanic who was 65 in 2014. That keeps the electrical grid going. We're trying to survive off of tourism, but
Bridget, this is Nav. Another
Well,
step.
it's very hard to land there.
yeah, you can only get there by vessel.
Yeah.
Why did you go there, Bob?
Huh?
Why did you go there? Was it work or?
We went to give them supplies.
Oh, well.
I would love that. So the Bounty is connected to Captain James Cook in that on Cook's third voyage, one of his mates was William Bligh. who went on to be the captain of the Bounty during the mutiny, and then went on to be governor of New South Wales, where there was also a mutiny.
Where he got disposed because
Yeah.
he was a royal jerk.
Yeah.
So none of us went ashore there. We were just offshore.
Yeah.
Okay.
They sent boats out.
They only use longboats to go out and
Yeah.
get, yeah.
And it's really steep going up from the beach.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They have, someone told me that the original timepiece from the Bounty has been recovered. It's in a museum somewhere because it was kicking around Pitcairn Island for a couple hundred years.
Wow. And that, those timepieces were instrumental in navigation in those days,
Yeah.
the chronographs.
What's that book? Longitude?
Longitude
Yeah.
by Dana Sobel
Yeah.
is the story of longitude, which is interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we zoom in on the red thing?
A red thing?
Yeah, up
Shrimp.
on
Shrimp.
the top. Is it a shrimp?
Zoom in.
Shrimp?
Shrimp.
Shrimpy shrimp.
Zoom in, Ed.
Coming in, going to try and brighten them up. Hey, buddy.
Yep.
Suna says hi.
Hi. Thank
Just
you.
hanging out. That's a cool shot.
Thank you.
You betcha.
Yeah, with the longitude, the Harrison clocks. I've always wanted to see, and I've been to England, but I've never been to Greenwich.
Oh,
And that's where they're all on display.
Yeah.
And then I always wanted to get over there and see them all and stuff. And then 2 or 3 years ago, I was talking to someone about it, and they were like, you know, they were just a Mystic Aquarium for the last like 6 months.
really?
Oh,
And I was like, what? You know, I live 45 minutes there. I was like, you kidding me? And I missed it by like a week. They left, and I said, are you?
Another one of
So,
those sponges with
yeah.
crabs
Yeah.
trapped inside.
Ooh, can we look at it? We actually had a question about squat lobsters. Are they just hanging out in there waiting to catch food, just like the sponge does, or how do they feed in there?
Yeah, I think they kind of use the sponge to
Capture stuff to give them water flow.
Yeah, exactly.
That is cool. And he's trapped in there, right?
There was a, yeah.
Yeah.
And also not trapped
that is
and
so
protected.
cool. You know what I was thinking about the one we saw yesterday with the 2 squat lobsters in there?
Yeah.
Thinking if you had to be stuck in a glass sponge with your person every day, all day.
With nothing to do.
Yeah. Just to like look at each other all day.
We've already cleaned the sponge 4 times, honey.
Yeah. You missed a spot.
Kind of looks like they got separate rooms there.
Yeah.
That's true. Maybe they have their own corners.
All right.
Thank you. That was
Moving on.
lovely.
I was lucky enough, there was a traveling exhibition about Captain Cook that I was out at sea, and it was in Anchorage. I really wanted to see it up there.
Hmm.
But then it actually, I had an unexpected break, and I was home for like 3 days, and it was at a museum in Tacoma, so I got to go see it. And it was,
Oh, cool.
It was fascinating, but even more so, in the center of one of the rooms, there was this kind of low-set table, and it was kind of dark, and you could see there was some light coming from the center of the table.
Uh-huh.
And as I walked over, I could tell almost immediately that it was one of Captain Cook's journals,
Oh my gosh.
which I've read all of his journals several times.
Yeah.
And it was open to an entry that I knew. So to like see the actual book like written in his hand
Yeah.
was super cool.
Oh, that's a really cool experience. Probably a little surreal almost.
Kind of like through the looking glass kind of thing. It was
Yeah,
really
yeah.
cool.
That's amazing. So Rose Atoll has been mapped a few times. Is that it's been explored a little bit more than some of the other places that we've been so far? Is that correct, or?
There's been a couple dives here, but not
Okay.
2, 3. The Okeanos was here, and they did 2. The inside has been well characterized. It's under Fish and Wildlife on the inside, and it's a sanctuary on the outside. So the inside's been done a lot.
When you say the inside, do you mean
The lagoon.
that lagoon area? Okay. How deep is that, I wonder?
30 meters, I think.
Okay, wow, so it is pretty deep. And it's brackish water?
No, it's all salt
Oh,
because
it's
there's an
all
inlet.
Oh, interesting. That is really cool.
Bridge, this is Nav. Another step, please.
So are we moving, it seems like you can kind of see Rose Atoll from Google Earth pretty well. Are we moving, we're moving up a long ridge. Is it north to south that we're going, or
225.
what direction?
So,
225.
yeah.
Yeah, we're off the north end of it. So
Okay.
it's like a baseball diamond, and we're sort of near second base. Heading up, going south.
Cool.
They're going.
Well, all of this rock terrain is very exciting after our muddy bottom last night. There's a little jelly in there. Up there.
Bridge, this is Nav. Another step, please.
Did they change up the launches up there, Solomon?
I'm not quite sure, but maybe
Yeah. Yeah, maybe they're...
So Rose Atoll is really quite interesting. I'm just reading all about it. It was the first Western sighting was in June of 1722, and the person at the time called it the...
what is that?
What is that thing? Right in the middle of the
Circle
screen.
things.
Oh,
Zoom in.
Sure.
It's a mushroom.
Sponge.
Sponge.
a candle holder sponge.
Looks like it.
What have you done, Chris?
Unless you ever played a Udu
Rewriting
drum.
oceanography. One
They look like a jar, kind of like that. You hit your
Stupid
hand
sponge
on
at
Yeah,
the top.
actually, I think I
it. It
have.
makes kind of a wop, 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 wop
Yeah.
kind of sound. I like those little attachment points. They're probably the coolest part of the organism.
Very cool.
Bridge, this is nav. Oh, okay. Bridge, this is nav. Another step, please.
Zoom in.
Zoom in. Still a sponge. Can you try a little bump down for those attachments? My favorite part of these.
Let's see.
Ooh, that's not as juicy as it has been. There you go.
Well, we're deeper. Well,
Huh.
that's 1,000 meters.
There's a jillion of those things.
Cool sponge, dude.
Good there, Suna?
Yes, thank you.
You bet.
So, as I was saying, the first Western person to discover Rose Atoll called it Eland. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it translates to useless island.
Youthless?
Useless.
Useless.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is kind of ironic considering that it now, as we know, contains the largest population of giant clams and nesting seabirds and rare reef fish in all of American Samoa.
Really?
Is there
Yeah.
fresh water
This
on
has
it?
got giant clams?
Yeah.
We're down here?
I know, right? I know.
Oh,
So, does that mean there's fresh water on the
no.
island?
No, there's no fresh water. I don't think.
'Cause
I'm sure
maybe-
Scott will tell
Big,
us all about
beautiful
it later.
clams up there.
And the fish population here is also different than the rest of the region because they have a higher concentration of carnivorous fish and lower populations of herbivorous fish. So
Seems like that would work itself out. at some
yeah,
point.
you'd think, right?
I'm no biologist, but
Right.
Zoom in, Ed.
Yeah, looks like an eel.
Hey, little buddy.
Donk.
How are we able to tell the difference between an eel and, say, an eel-like fish? What sort of characteristics do you look for?
I say eel, and I wait for Suna to correct me.
That's
how
a
I
safe
do it.
maneuver there.
I have to start coming up soon.
Coming up.
Eels
steeper.
are in the
Yeah,
category of
looks
eel-like
pretty steep in Argus sonar.
Oh,
Yeah, we
shoot.
might want to back up a little bit.
which don't really have a
beans.
classic shape of a caudal fin of a tail.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're called eels. They swim a little different. They're like snakes.
they're pedunculous.
Pedunculous.
Pedunculus.
You know Rich Bell, right? Katie Croft's
Yeah,
husband.
uh-huh,
We went fishing one time with him and Katie and me and my kids, and
uh-huh.
we caught a sea bass, and Rich cleaned it on the boat and gave like a biology lesson to Elliot and Marion as he was cleaning the fish, talking to him all through it. When the kids heard caudal peduncle, they just like lost it. They thought that was great.
So in the last 15 years, they've recorded 270 different species of fish here. And then in the deeper
down
waters. Right? Exactly.
We need a really long tether
here.
to get into that lagoon. Drag it over the beach.
We just happened to make one.
Yeah.
We have a 120 meter
Bridge,
tether.
this is nav. Another step, please.
Nope, I think just in the
Maybe we
deeper
need to
waters.
test it.
Well, it's going to be hard for Herc to turtle walk across the sand to get into the lagoon.
We can use little herd. Hump it across the sand.
Just get a running start.
End
Like
of
Free
the
Willy.
tether.
Yeah.
Hey, while we're waiting here, Bob, can you turn on the 4K camera? Or
Roger.
thanks.
Okay, I lied to you, Maddie.
Okay, I'll forgive you.
They call the fish that belong into the order Anguilliformes true eels, and the other eel-like fish, just eel-like fish.
Oh.
Really? That's something I could have come up with. It's not.
Yeah, who did they pay to come up with that?
Yeah, the one that don't belong in the order Anguilliformes, but look like eels, they call eel-like.
Huh. And they just still have that different...
To be in the eel order, you have to have a
Bridge, this
dorsal
is now another
fin
step.
that is continuous with the caudal and anal fin.
Oh, okay.
Have very small embedded scales or no scales.
That's
the
a big
list goes
sponge.
on.
Yeah, that's a cool sponge. It almost looks like those little snowflakes you make with paper when you're little.
Oh yeah, these things are so hard to image.
Because they're translucent, or what is it?
They're so bright.
Yeah, okay. I don't know, that looks pretty.
But see how much I have to darken up the surrounding area to expose the
Yeah.
sponge correctly? Like, if you'll excuse me for a second, if we were looking at the nearby rocks, it would look like that.
I can't.
But we have to adjust for this
I
giant mirror.
like that contrast, though. I think it's really pretty. Whoa, that is such a cool sponge. That looks a little more like a traditional sponge, I think, when people envision what a sponge might be.
Like wash your car with this.
Yeah, exactly.
There are so many sponge species.
How many are there?
Too many.
Well, what did we say? I think there's over 1,000 coral species in this region as well. I wonder how many sponges there are.
That's cool. All right.
Keep
You
going.
gotta move on?
Yeah.
Yep. Bridge,
That
this is
was a
now
great
another
shot.
step, please. Thank you.
Oh, I like that sort of pan around too. Oh, you're just crushing it right now.
Are you video engineer, Ed?
What?
Huh?
Huh?
What?
What?
Hey?
Would you break?
Nothing. For now.
Right.
We have a request to introduce ourselves. So I guess I'll start and we can just go around the room really quickly. My name is Madison. I am the Science Communication Fellow here on the ship. And I've been here, this is my third week. Oh my goodness. And in my shore job, I'm actually a science journalist. So it's been cool to be here on the ship and kind of get this behind the scenes look at how the research happens and all of the work that goes into it, including the video work.
Oh,
Hey.
nice segue.
Yeah, how'd you like that one?
I love that. Let me see if I find somebody who knows about video. My
Bridge,
name's
this is now. Bridge,
Ed.
this is now another step, please.
I'm the video engineer on watch, so I'm controlling the cameras and the satellite feeds and the recordings and the audio and the monitors. This is also my third week on Nautilus for the 732nd time or something like that.
And what, you're here until August, right?
October.
I mean October, duh.
Yeah.
It's August right now.
Yeah, this time. And then I leave for 2 weeks, then come back
Oh, good.
after the season.
And who is sitting next to you?
Well, speaking of 3 sport athletes, Maverick's sitting next to me.
My name's Alyssa. I am the Argus pilot and ROV engineering intern on this expedition. I'm coming from the University of New Hampshire. I'm a graduate student there. This is also my 3rd week.
And we have another pilot next to you.
I'm Robert, and
Bridge,
I'm the
this is
Hercules
Nav. Another
pilot.
step, please.
My shore job is the Ocean Exploration Trust Facilities Manager and ROV Engineer at our facility in San Pedro, California. Yeah.
Cool. All-star Herc pilot.
I'm Suleiman Al-Sibani. I'm the navigator here,
Wanna zoom in there?
part of the science team. So I do liaise between the bridge of the ship and the science team in the control van to get the ROVs exactly where they want to be and get the ship in the right position to support that. And that's what I do, and I'm from Oman.
Suleiman, what do you do in the Royal Sultanate of Oman?
I do a lot of things, but mainly my background was in navigation, so I studied navigation in the UK. So that's what brought me here.
Great.
All right, and then we have a whole science team at the back of the control van as well.
Whole science.
Ain't gonna be able to look at the front of
The
it.
duo, the science duo.
We
Me?
have Professor Dr. Sir Chris Roman.
You gonna move on?
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I'm just a guy. I just walked in here. I have no idea what's going on. Yeah, my name is Chris Roman. I'm a faculty member in oceanography at the University of Rhode Island Graduate School of Oceanography. And I've been doing Nautilus stuff since, for a while. And
Since Nautilus.
Since
Yeah,
the
since-
von Humboldt.
yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so on this trip, I guess sailing as expedition leader, so I'm sort of the myself and another chief scientist are trying to sort of run this show.
I saw you trying to get a rare earth deposit just like cement.
Yeah, no, you're not going to get down there.
Cement, but your oxygen is what, about 1?
All right. Thanks, Chris. Who else do we have back there?
158.
Oh.
Yeah, wall on your left.
Yeah, so you should
Uh-huh.
How we doing, guys?
Doing
All
very
right.
good.
Careful that chair. Careful
No,
that
no,
chair.
it's good now. It's
Oh,
good.
okay.
Yeah,
It-
fixed.
It collapsed on it.
You'll go with me.
Yeah.
Emily made it on the plane
Very good.
with all the geographic crowd.
Really.
So she's upset they're playing business and she sent her seat first. I said, you gotta work your way up to.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're on their way to Fiji.
Yeah.
Since they're the sponsor, they won't leave till later on.
That's good news.
Included in this.
Yeah. Old stuff.
And this is an old volcano that's been, it's now sat, water column covered with this rare earth. The good news is there's no life.
Y-
Well, you can't come here. It's extract all the carbon.
Mhm.
Good luck picking up one of those puppets.
Yeah.
So,
Bridge, this is Nav. Another step, please.
There's not much. No.
we made a sanctuary out of it.
Well, I think that's
We could.
up there. Up there where we'd never go.
I'm so glad we're protecting this.
There's stuff here. You zoom in.
Yeah, there's been some good shots.
Zoom into your mouth and find
Those sponges.
Zoom in, Ed.
so
Coming in.
Little guys.
Yeah.
So do sponges have that really old age that corals do as well?
Bridge, this is Nav. Another step, please.
I don't think they age as like corals. As they don't live as long as corals, but there might be some that live longer. I'm not really sure about sponges.
But a sponge is all one organism, right?
Yeah,
Whereas a coral is
a colony.
a colony. Oh, it's so cute. And are sponges squishy or hard?
They're crunchy.
Crunchy. And then some of them, like the glass sponges, are actually literally made of glass, right?
Yeah, they have glass spikes,
Yeah.
Huh.
but they're
Left these
crunchy
here.
too.
Also crunchy.
I'm good, thanks.
Ooh, bring those. You can pass those this way.
Crunches.
Crunchy sponges. We have actually found some signs of human pollution in a couple of spots. I think we saw a green plastic bottle, a brown glass bottle, a Coke can somewhere, and then at one dive spot, I can't remember where it was, but there was a lot of fishing line along the seabed. So there's definitely been some human pollution that we've seen.
Yeah, you won't have as much out here because this is 60, almost 70 miles from the nearest spot. Most of the long line stuff is from small boats, shore-based. Those guys aren't going to be out here as much.
And that human pollution too, right? We were closer to populations of people, so.
Yeah, it's just, you're not going to see as much out here.
Yeah, there are some very slow-growing sponges, Maddie. I think that can live up to 5,000 years old.
What?
Says Google.
Have we found some of those? I mean, not maybe us,
No,
but
not
like
that I know.
humans in general?
They must have,
Yeah, right?
because they dated it.
Bridge, this is Nav. Another step, please.
How do you date a sponge?
Good question.
You swipe left on it.
Okay, cute.
You are on one tonight. Ooh, okay, there's a 2016 article by Nat Geo that says a sponge can live for 11,000 years. This must have, there's a couple of publications that wrote this same article, so it must have been a trending one in 2016. 10,000 years. 11,000 years.
Then it ends up at the Brown Bear car wash.
Monohaphis chuni. It's published in the journal Aging Research Reviews. There's also a deep sea sponge.
Suleiman just lost it.
It's funny though. Bridge, this is nav. Another step, please. Yes, thank you.
So in the map that we're looking at, what are the yellow highlighted areas that show the boat in the bottom right-hand screen?
That map is actually generated on shore, and I don't know what that map looks like.
Oh, gotcha. So I was wondering, we don't actually have a view of it.
If you go to nautiluslive.org, you'd see it.
Oh,
Just
touche.
Don't stream the video if you can avoid that. You can look up and see that.
I was using all of the internet earlier today. Ironically, streaming our live stream, which is
Right.
live streamed everywhere. It's not a super clear photo or image. I can't really tell. It's just sort of black on this.
Yeah, well, I don't think there's much land there. I think those are by land islands.
Oh, yeah.
There's usually a little dot where we are, at the tail behind it, but yeah, it's hard to see. I'm guessing we're somewhere around 14 degrees south, though, maybe 13. Yeah.
14, yes.
What the heck? What is that there?
Well, I'm a firm believer that no question is a silly question. So, Bob, this one goes out to you. Is it possible to fly Herc inverted?
In where?
Inverted.
Like Bob hangs from the ceiling?
No, actually, that would be really difficult because ROVs are made with all that yellow foam on the top.
Uh-huh.
All that's the buoyancy. And then all the weight's kept way down low. So it has a very tall, what they call a metacentric height. So its center of mass and its center of buoyancy are really far apart.
Bob, what do you think about a rock in here?
Okay. So it'd be really hard to even just tilt it over a little bit. So there's no way you'd get it to flip all the way over because it would just right itself immediately.
It's a pendulum.
These are pretty glued in.
Yeah, I know. I thought there might be some candidates in there, but we have to do the bump